The bubbly's in the fridge. It's not cold yet. It's good old water for now. This is a follow-up from my earlier lengthy video explaining about how I intend to insulate some of my hives this spring. There's not much to see here as far as activity. I've been cutting up polystyrene all morning. I've got lots of pieces here. So what I've got here is I tend to wrap things up when I do. It just makes material handling so much easier. So each little package here, and I think I have 35 of them there. I just cut until it's out of material. I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to need. So each little package here has a long piece and two short pieces. So there's front, back, and a side. And again, I only need 3 pieces for each hive because they're on two-way pallets and they butt against each other. I don't need to insulate between them. I couldn't if I wanted to because there's no space in there. So that's the insulation around the outside of the hive. I suspect, and I'm afraid, I have a lot of very small colonies out there, a lot of very small clusters. So the principle in beekeeping is people say, how much room should I give my colony? Well, you should give your colony enough space, but not too much space. That's the answer. Most colonies like to be a bit tight. So the answer to this really changes over the season with the temperatures outside or in the wintering shed, as the case may be. Because I may have some small clusters out there, I decided to try something else. I would like to put those small clusters in a smaller box. Pretty much everybody's in a 10 frame box right now. If I have a small cluster that's on 3 frames or 4 frames, I would like to push them down. I would like to take them and put them in a small nuke box and insulate that perhaps. I don't want to tear the colonies apart. I don't want to tear the hives apart and start pulling frames, and that would just be disastrous. It would be difficult, it would be horrible, and I don't think it would do the bees any good at all. I may have come up with a solution, and I'm going to try this. You know, I was at a bee club meeting recently. It was maybe 6 weeks ago. One of the experienced beekeepers there, he does a section on what you're doing in your apiary at the, now or for the next month, what you should be doing. He showed this box and he said, if your cluster's small, put a insulated divider in the box. And I looked at that and I thought, you know what? That's kind of what I had decided to do anyway. And that's the truth. I had kind of decided to do that, but I didn't know if that was commonly done. I didn't know if anybody was doing that. Well, this guy suggested it's a reasonable action. So what I've done here is part of my polystyrene. I'm working with 1-inch polystyrene here, and it actually has a shiplap edge, which I don't care for in most applications. However, in this application, I think it'll be fine. It may offer me a little bit of an advantage. Okay, what I've got here, standard Langstroth 10 frame deep. I've put this on a 3/4 inch shim down here. You can't really see in the frame, but it's on a 3/4 inch shim just to simulate the brood chamber sitting on the bottom board, because what I want to do is I want to put a follower board in here. So this is my colony. Say on this side I've got a few frames, and I've got maybe 3 frames or 4 frames, and so I'll take out a frame or 2 and then I'll slide in this piece of polystyrene. It fits in here really tight, so it's very secure in here. It squeaks when you pull it. And now I left on some of these, I cut about I don't know, maybe 20 of these. So on some of these I left the shiplap edge, and why I did that is because it just gives it a little bit of compression. The stuff doesn't compress real well, so it allows for a little bit of compression. And what I've got, slide that down in there right to the bottom board. It sticks up here a 1/2 inch. Why does that stick up a 1/2 inch? Well, it does that because my lid has a 1/2 inch shim on it here. And I don't know that you can see that, but that follower board is pretty much flush with the bottom side of this cover. So that'll give them nice sealed off little hive. I don't think having a few cracks in that is going to be a big issue. I mean, they have entrances and whatnot. I'm not taking care of this crack in here where the frame rest is, and here. If they want to wander through that, that's up to them. I don't think that's an issue. Now you're going to say, well, the bees are going to pick away at that polystyrene. I know they are. I know very well they are. If I can paint that with some latex paint, I don't believe that that's going to hurt the bees at all. Paint these days is not toxic, as in, you know, what you may have maybe thinking about in years gone by. Then the bees won't pick at it. I found that out purely by accident one time. But for now, this should not be in here a terribly long time. If it goes in here at the end of March, it might be able to come out second week of May. You know, so that's going to be 6 weeks. They may pick away at it, but that's fine. They can pick away at it. And someone asked how I'm going to attach this polystyrene to the box, and this is how I plan to do it. This is a washer of sorts. Camera's not going to focus on it probably, but so it's a washer. It's kind of a dippled thing. I used those on my warming cabinet project. They worked really great. And I've got an 1 3/4 screw with that. So that'll protrude about 3/4 of an inch through the polystyrene into the box. My boxes are 7/8 thick material. As some of my American friends might not know, Canadian boxes, for whatever reason, are a standard 7/8 thick material. Makes them a little heavier, but makes them more robust too. That 1/8 of an inch means a lot. I don't know if it's a insulation thing or what, but that's the case. So our outside of our boxes is a little larger than some of your 3/4 inch material boxes. They're 20 1/8 wide, 16 5/8 deep, or deep and wide, however you want to say that. I think all this planning is going to work out. I'm excited to get the bees out. They will likely come out Thursday. There it is in all its glory. The insulated wooden Langstroth. A lot of bother, you say a lot of expense. That calculates out to less than $4.50 worth of polystyrene. It's 1 inch. I bought it in 4x8 sheets, which saves a little money over the more common 24 by 96 inch sheets. So here we go. We have 3 sides. This side here is not insulated because, again, it's beside the other hive. It's up against the other hive. And also then I have a follower board inside, which will allow me to squeeze down a small cluster with an insulation value here. And I'll manipulate that entrance reducer to give them a small entrance on that side. I want to squeeze them into this side so that they're up against the next cluster in the other hive. 20 of these hives will be wrapped with bee cozies, and I've got about 35 maybe of these sets of polystyrene. Day after tomorrow, bees come out. Been waiting for this day since October, late October. That's really about all I have today. Stay warm, stay well, and above all, have fun.